Hi, I'm Paweł Spychalski, and my motto should be that I should stop starting and start finishing. Because what I'm gonna show you today is the second maiden, or actually maiden after making changes, kind of important changes, to the project of the scratch-built foamy airplane, sub 250 grams foamy airplane. I started in September 2018. 2 years ago. Actually, 2 years ago, I designed the thing, I made the thing, then I decided to make some changes, and for 2 years it was sitting on one of the shelves in my apartment. And you probably in my past videos you can see this very characteristic red airplane somewhere there. As you can see, it's the airplane, super traditional airplane that's made actually, well, let's be honest, with 6mm Depron over here and glued mainly with the hot glue and the Uhupol glue. That's powered with the standard 2207 brushless motor for the multi-rotor drones, and 3 servos, no flight controller, no GPS, just a super simple trainer, a project of the airplane you can build in your home for actually probably almost nothing in a day or two. What we're gonna do today? Today I will put the GoPro on my forehead and I will maiden this thing in the new configuration, see how it flies, and then finally test how the FPV installation I've put on this thing is working. And then if this thing flies like I hope it would fly, so maybe not awesome but at least pretty good, I will share the plans with you, not today, but somehow in the future. Share the plans as the PDF, easy to download, easy to cut from 6mm Depron with using only a knife, only a hot glue, and there is one 3D printed part. The motor mount is 3D printed, but if someone can also cut it from, I don't know, plywood or anything like that. So without further ado, let me put my GoPro on my forehead, let me connect the battery, take the radio, and let's try to fly this thing, see if it works or not. Battery connected, servos seems to be working just fine, throttle is working just fine. Let's take a look at the center of the gravity, and the center gravity looks relatively fine. So the only thing that is left is to throttle up and hopefully do not crash immediately after takeoff, right? Let me recheck the servos. Yeah, okay, servos are working in correct way, so let's go. Okay, that was not the best takeoff in the history of takeoffs, maybe ever. Seems like I have slightly too much authority on actually every axis right now, so let me lower the rates to around 50%. Right now I had it at 70, and also on the elevator, yes, also on the elevator, definitely too much authority also on the elevator, also to the 50%, and maybe this time I will be able to keep it in the air. It's so ugly now. Okay, now we are talking. Now it's much better. It's climbing. Oops. No. At least better than previously. That's the beauty of the maiden, of the completely scratch built airplane. You never know if you got the servo throws right. This time hopefully it will be better. Still lower the throws, increase the expo. Okay, now we are talking. Now we are talking. It's at least controllable. Still climbs a little. It's somehow bloody scary. I'm not sure if you saw this thing, but this thing is definitely kind of scary. Okay, it got me some time, experiments and crashes to get the throws and the expo to a position that, well, this thing is right now almost ready to fly. I also had to put extra weight on the nose because it turned out it was slightly tail heavy, and that was, it's never a good thing if an airplane is a tail heavy. So let me fly some with the GoPro on, so you can see more or less how this thing behaves in the air, and then I will put on my FPV goggles. It's super small, it's super jumpy in the air, so you really have to be careful, because even the not too big gust of wing can move this thing right and left. But once you get the throws, it behaves in the air kinda stable, so it's not that it's unflyable. However, with the full servo deflections, it is rather uncontrollable in the air, so I really had to lower the throws of the servo to like 30% of the original values. But then, as you can see, it flies. You can even do a loop, maybe not right now. Okay, let's do a loop. Yeah, that was a loop. And it flies. I still think that I could move the center of gravity slightly forward, because I still kinda feel that it's kinda tail heavy. However, not as much as previously, and well, it still likes to climb during the turns. Okay, let me put some more weight in the nose, and let's gonna see what's gonna happen next. It's not a glider though. It's definitely not a glider though. No. Okay. No, definitely this thing is still tail heavy, and we will have to put one more weight in the nose. Okay, one more weight at the nose, and hopefully this time it will be fully controllable in the air. And that also means that my theoretical center of gravity marks over here are definitely too far, because if I will put, okay, yeah, like 2 or 3 millimeters more to the front than I originally anticipated. So let's throttle up. Okay, I will have to do some retrimming, but I can already feel it feels much better in the air. Much better. Okay, yeah, now we are talking. Now this thing really behaves nice in the air. Yes. Not the most silent airplane ever, and today is also not perfect conditions, because it's kinda windy, maybe not windy but gusty. Okay, it's time for the FPV. okay, I think we can call it at least a partial success, because it flies, even maybe slightly better than I really expected, because let's be honest, it's a simple square airplane cut only with from the sheets of Depron with a knife, without absolutely any rounded surfaces. So the name says it's everything. It's a simple square, and definitely it's not a glider. If you cut the motor, well, yeah, it kind of stays in the air but really does not want to glide. It's light, that means it's sensitive to any kind of wind gusts, and it's really not keeping the attitude when you fly, at least in the slightest wind, but it flies. It also proved to be quite a challenge to correctly set up all the servo throws and all the control surfaces, because on the full deflections this thing was absolutely not controllable. Slightest move on the sticks and it was doing absolutely stupid things in the air. However, when I lowered the throws in the OpenTX to around 30%, added some expo, it started to fly okay. And because it started to fly okay, now I only have to finish the plans. I still have one sheet of the plans to lay down with all the dimensions. Now I also have to measure where the center of gravity is, because like I mentioned previously, or not, depends, when I anticipated the center of gravity should be, well, it should be slightly forward. But besides that, give me a week or two and the plans for the Quad Me Up Simple Square, that's the official name of this thing, should be made publicly available. Okay, I think that's all for today. It's slowly getting darker, so now this part of the video is probably not the best quality, but let's see you around. Until the next one. Bye bye.